Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
This question was asked in 2014. It is a 12.5 mark question. So this question is related to the demographic dividend. See, this question can be repeated. The reason is India is in the demographic dividend phase, which means more working population in the India's population. So the ratio of the working population is higher, then that is called as demographic dividend. When it comes to other countries like Japan, which is actually the issue of the old age population. So they have the huge number of old age population, and also many countries are facing this issue. But India is in the demographic dividend, which means there is a huge younger generations are here. So that is called as demographic dividend. But the issue of this demographic dividend in India is becoming now the issue of demographic disaster. The reason is, even though the younger generations are there, they are lacked in the quality of employability. So they don't have education. If they are having the education, that education is not skillful, and also it is lack in the ethics, and also there is a lack in the vocational education, and also there is a lack in the health of the younger generation. So the human capital, even though the younger generations are higher, the human capital like education, skill and health, that is lacking in India. So that is the major concern for India. But the government is trying to overcome these issues by increasing the schemes related to like Skill India, and also related to the education. They are changing lot of things related to the education and also skill and also health. They are doing that, but still, even though we are in a demographic dividend phase, we are not achieving the growth rate up to which what we need to achieve. The reason is there is a lack of all the qualities that are needed for the younger generation. So this question is related to that one. While we flout India's demographic dividend, we ignore the dropping rate of employability. What are we missing while doing so? Where will the jobs that India desperately need come from? Explain. This is a 200 words, 12.5 mark question. It is one of the finest question. It is also there is a more relevance for this question to repeat in the upcoming mains also, because still after it was asked in 2014, after 10 years, more than a decade, still there is a possibility for this question to get repeated, because the reason is this issue is still in India. When it comes to these kinds of questions, you have to flood the answer with a lot of data, because it is an economic question. So you have to give the answers with a lot of data, then it will be easy to get a lot more marks. So that is the important thing. So here in the intro part, you can simply say what is demographic dividend itself, which means it's the huge percentage of the working age population that is called as demographic dividend. Simply you can speak about that thing. Next, you have to give the lot of data related to the demographic dividend. First thing, according to the ILO, the youth population in the country will dip 23% by 2036 from 27% in 2021. So in India, now the younger generation population is around younger generation population is 23%, which means at present the younger generation population is 27%. In 2036 it is going to drop. That is what the ILO report is saying. So which means, so it is more important to achieve the great economic growth at the present scenario itself. That is what the ILO report is saying. Next, the economic survey 2018-19 says that the dividend would peak around 2041, when the working age population would be okay. So the demographic dividend of India will be peak at 2041. So there are a lot of data, you can use it in your mains exam. So you can note any one of this data. Now you have to speak about the employment crisis in India. That is also with the data of NSSO survey. So the youth unemployment was 5.7% in 2000 and it is jumped to 17.5% in 2019, which is the 300% jump. So even though India have the highest population in number and also highest population in the younger generation, still the issue of unemployment is growing drastically. 300% jump. According to the ILO report, in India, the youth unemployment rate of usual status was an estimated 12.4% in 2022, which was more than 12 times higher than the adult rate. So these are the major concerns of India. So try to use all this data. Youth account for nearly 83% of the country's total unemployment rate, unemployed population. Every third young Indian is not pursuing the education, or it is not employed, or has no skill based training. So 1 in 3, every 1 person in the 3 person is lacking any skill or education. That is the issue. So 1/3 of the population is like this one. So these are the data you can use in your exam. The next part of the question is saying that where will the job that India desperately need come from? So what are the possible way you can make this youth be employable, where you can push all this younger generation people to work? So that is what the question is asking. So you can easily say that it is the labor intensive sectors. For example, textile industry, automobile industry, apparel industry. So these are the things called as labor intensive sector. India need to focus on this enhancement of the labor intensive sector. For that only they launched a scheme called as PM Mitra scheme. So it is for the promotion of the textile industry. So that is one way of promoting the labor intensive sector. So government is focusing on that. Next, you need to, so the labor intensive sectors are textile, plastic, footwear, auto components, sports goods. That are the things. Next, government, there is a next possible push for the growth in the employment is in the gig economy. So that is also the major growth. There is a possibility for the growth. Next, IT sector. So if you are providing a good skill for your younger generation, means they can be easily get into the job of the IT. For example, there is a growth of the automation and AI. So if you are able to give the skills related to that thing, means the person will be easily get into the employment circle. So that is the thing. Next, technology driven industries, and also last thing is food processing industry. So, and also when it comes to the food processing industry, India still need to grow a long way. So there is a possible for the potential growth in food processing industry. So we need to focus on that thing also. That is also one of the labor intensive sector. India need to focus on that also. So in that way, India can easily mobilize the demographic dividend to achieve the greater growth. So in the conclusion, you can say that if you are going to easily mobilize the younger generation population, means we can easily achieve the Vikshit Bharat by 2047, developed India by 2047. So by the way, you can conclude this question. Okay, thank you.